folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is 4001 AD, issue 4 by Valiant. Now, there is fighting and destruction in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, this is it. A last issue, the end of the story. And I was excited to read this, but I was also sad, because this would be the end. So, when we left off Arai and Father in issue 3, Arai, it seems, has just destroyed Father, and New Japan was falling down to earth. Was going to, because Father was no longer operating everything. And so in this one, we once again get a little recap, which I don't get. It feels like every issue here had a recap. I wonder if these were very far apart from each other in release date. I mean, I get it, maybe making a little thing, but still, it's just every issue. I wonder why. Because I'm thinking in the previous ones, it didn't do that. Like in the trades I read. Anyway, yeah, so it describes as New Japan like a cherry blossom petal in the winter, and they're trying to cling on. Trying to survive, and it tells us, again, a little recap of what happened. And then we go to Father and Rai. So either this is like a little, I don't know, extra, because in issue 3 he already killed him after he killed Lemur, but here, it looks like they still have one last talk, as Rai is fighting Father, and Father is trying to convince him, Rai, I've tried to do everything for New Japan to help, and Rai's saying, no, all you've done is controlled everyone. You made me in your dystopic image of everything. You don't give the people free will. We're all just a resource for you. Me, my mother, everyone. That's all we are to you. You just want control. And Rai's like, not right. Father tells him, what will happen to New Japan without me, Rai? You're going to condemn everyone if you kill me. And Rai's like, I'm not condemning them, Father. I'm liberating them. And then he delivers the final blow to Father. And then, that's it. Then we see how New Japan has fallen, but it wasn't the destruction I imagined it would be. A lot of people have managed to escape. And not lie, it seems like most have managed to escape in the pods. And we see them all falling to Earth. Again, the New Japan's pretty massive. I thought it would cause, a huge crate or something. But it looks like it still had maybe some engine power. But anyway, it falls to Earth. The pods with people are landing. We see people over the Earth, it's trying to settle there. You see what do you have, North Pole maybe? You see the Raddies there with dinosaurs, and it looks like they built like a New Japan Atlantis or something. And again, everywhere you see all the pods, and then we get to Rai. Or as we see all this, they talk about the Earth is new. It's big, it's free. It just describes how much they how much they have to discover. And then we go to Rai. I'll tell you here. We go to Rai. There, your description. New Japan was devastated, decimated, and how now they all live next to each other, not one on top of the other or below the other. Yeah, you see basically a lot of spread. Oh yeah, then we got some monologue from Lola. But yeah, most of the sectors made it, but some they weren't able to like turn on their landing bubbles and whatnot and protocols, which I think that stuff would be activated automatically, no? Just in case. Maybe not. Yeah, there we go. Lola says, right, did it, we did it. Whatever happens to us now, it will be our fate, our choice, our lives. We got the Genomancer. She's obviously thrilled that they're back on Earth now. Okay, wait. Like she can hear the Earth and it's just so beautiful and everything, she says. And again, we see more of how they all did it, and then we have Lola. And it starts in a way like the first issue of this series did, where Lola is writing all of this down on paper. Because paper is rare, expensive, and impractical. That's what she says about, the New Japan in 4001. That it was rare and impractical how they lived. Or how the whole year was. But now that's it. She's writing this all down because it's important. Because before they had vid scrolls, they call them, not tablets. Vid scrolls, they would write in all sorts of uses of technology. But yeah, again, we go back on paper. So she's but like she's saying that monologue again, but this time with a different end. And then Rai, she's sitting on top of like a crate. And then Rai sits next to her, and they're looking at the stars. And then he puts his arm around her. It's a sweet moment. They're looking. The New Japan is now spread all over Earth, and it still needs protecting. And how they have to continue. Then Rai's gonna have to go and, still find them all and protect them. And they will, and then before that, Ryan and Gilad have a talk about Laymore. They, I don't know if they got his body, but they make a grave and put his hammer on top. And how, Laymore lost everything. And for what? He ended up with nothing. And Gilad says, well, we all are like that. It's what we leave behind. And then Rai mentions how they're all young as they look at Lola and the Genomancer. And Gilad says, you're also young. You haven't seen anything yet. And we get to the last part there. And was this a victory? Lola says, I guess it depends. Sorry. But for the first time in 2,000 years, victory or failure is going to depend on us. And then it's signed Lola Lee, Earth, Journal entry number 1, year 4002. And that's it. That's where it ends. Okay, so first cover. Rai looks really fucking cool here, but again, it's a lot more intense than what actually happens here. But still, fucking cool, fantastic colors. As always, look how angry Rai looks. Let me show you closer. Okay, and then see some art. So here's the flashback art. It's a little bit different. I like it. You see Rai fighting father. There's about Spylock. There. There's New Japan falling. And there we go. I'll just show you this one here. Let's see who's fighting father there. There's Rai's mother behind him. Telling him about the other Rais that he's created. As always, fantastic art. Alright, now for stories. So that conclusion was less dramatic than I expected. I think I thought we'd see, I don't know, maybe Japan falling to Earth and Rai struggling to how to keep it, at least landing not too harshly. I kind of wish there was something like that. But still, it was a very, open ending there in the sense of, yeah, now they're free from father's tyranny, but is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What will happen now? Will the, free will, was it worth it? Will it be worth it in the future? Who knows? But still, now it's up to them. And there's a lot to explore on Earth. So I did like that. That was a good one. Now for my complaints. We got nothing about Momoko and the spider aliens. Why? Like, I don't get it. Were they killed off somehow in volume 3 and I just didn't bloody notice? And what about the creepy old guy? Nothing about him either. Like, I get it, they're not main characters, but you expect a little something. Especially Momoko, it was such a big deal, she was Rai's love. Like, fucking nothing. She doesn't even get a mention. Like, again, at least, tell us, she died? What happened to her? I just don't get why. She was quite a big deal in the first 3 volumes. Well, why here? Fuck her, I guess. And Isaac, and the parrot, and the old guy. Just again, were they just not important enough? Again, them not being mentioned doesn't hinder the story, but it's just all 4 issues I was waiting for something about Momoko. I mean, granted, maybe with all the destructions, I don't know, Isaac, and all the spider alien people just got killed? Again, maybe I missed it. Maybe there was something about that in volume 3 and I just didn't bloody notice. I just don't get it. Where are they? Why? Again, I'm just nitpicking here, but it's not even one line about those fuckers. Not one. I was reading this, okay, and Ryan's not even wondering about her. So much for loving her, right? Okay, I mean, I guess it is what it is. I was expecting a little more action too. Again, I still love this series, but I was just hoping there would be a bigger climax with destroying Father finally. After all this time, and I guess a little more on how they're, again, about the other characters that they survived. I'm assuming Lola's parents didn't make it. Again, some mentioned, but you think it would be a little bit. Okay, about them, fair enough. They're not such main characters. They're not that important. But you think Momoko and Isaac would be... You got a whole fucking army of spider alien things. That's vampire spider alien things. It sucked blood. And we get nothing about their fate. I mean, granted, to sound mean here, it's good that if they're dead, because if they came to Earth, people would be fucked. They would just devour them. I mean, holy shit. But still, what happened to them? What, did they disappear into a void? Yeah, okay. I guess they disappeared into a void. I'm a little disappointed that one didn't get any mention. But, okay, let's move on before I keep talking about this. Well, that was it. Father's dystopian rule is over. You know the whole dystopian thing? It's kind of like in WALL-E, where you also have, I don't know if it was an artificial intelligence, but you also, have the people, kept them fat. And they didn't even walk. They just sat on these floaty chairs. And then Wally arrives with, because there's a protocol to get a living proof that you can go back and inhabit the Earth. So it's a little bit like here in a sense. Where, Father taught all of them that Earth is hell, but Earth has been fine. Except Father shooting at it every once in a while. But they could go and inhabit it again. Now what's going to happen in the future? That's a different question. Because usually everything starts out not bad, but, eventually things might turn against the same thing. At least now they have Rai with them. I don't know what's going to happen with all the technology, though. Funny thing is, again, they mention, how the positrons were, used as slave labor, and Father mentions, what are you going to do without the positrons, without their labor? Now, people are going to have to work, right? You want to tell me because in the previous ride, the one from the 90s, people still had to work. I don't think they had positrons in the ride from the 90s. I think they still had the raddies, but I don't think they had the positrons or the PTs. Because people had to do a lot of work still, regardless. This is one of the reasons why they had, problems with that ride, because whenever he would turn up and try to do something, there was destruction, and then people had to work more to cover for that. So here, Father made the positrons, which were essentially the slave class. Which begs the question of why just not make them work robots? Because he made them so human-like. And why were they? Yeah, well, anyway. You get the idea here. The dystopian AI has been destroyed. Though it is a little scary if that's what's waiting for us in the future. Hopefully most of us aren't here by then, though. I don't know about you, I wouldn't want to live through the time of the Terminator. But yeah, regardless of my complaints of Momoko and Isaac, this was still a really great story. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I got all of it and I can reread it again in the future. Well, it would be interesting to get all the 90s Rai and then see which one I like better. I mean, they're definitely, they're both very interesting in their own right. But yeah, that's left to be seen when I get to that. But yeah, so that was 4000 AD. Still don't know why it wasn't called Rai 4000 AD and that other one was. It has fuck all to do with this, but yeah, well, that happened. Alright, folks, so that is it. Let me know what you thought of this one down below in the comments. And remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!